everyone, and welcome to Friday Favorites. It's a time where I share all of the things that I am loving for the week. Sometimes I talk about the previous week. Since it's every other week, you will find me sharing some of my favorite things that I am enjoying or that I recommend or that I've tried before and can't live without. So let's get started with Friday Favorites. This week, I wanted to let you know that I am not in the studio, so if my voice sounds funny, wanted to let you know why. I am on the road with on a family trip, but I still wanted to come on and share my Friday favorites with you. So here we go. The first one is, I get asked a lot, like, what podcasts do you listen to? And I fluctuate. There are a lot of podcasts out there. And there are some great ones, and I just can't get to all of them, but I try to download a few good ones. And my latest obsession is a podcast called Crime Junkie. Now, it has a host but I think that there's a co-host or a sidekick, and it's two gals who are just kind of talking about either a solved mystery, solved murder, or some type of crime, and it might be solved and it might be unsolved and might be even a cold case. So I am loving that podcast. It is great and I highly recommend it. It's called Crime Junkie. I always get asked about what I drink, and because I don't drink coffee, I do drink sweet tea, but I have been trying to cut back on my sugar intake. So I have now moved on to a half and half sweet tea. So a lot of people talk about my Sonic obsession, and sometimes I'll post some Instagram stories about it. So my drink order at Sonic is a large half and half sweet tea with extra ice. The thing is I'm very obsessed with the ice at Sonic. And most recently have discovered one of my new favorite things is that you can buy a bag of ice from Sonic. I mean, I think I've always known that you can do that. I just haven't actually done it. But for a holiday party that I had at my house, we got a couple of bags of Sonic ice, and it was so fun and so delicious. And so that is one of my favorite things I'm loving these days. The next thing I'm loving is some of these packing hacks that I've learned from YouTube. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos from stewardesses who were packing very, very efficiently, and they had their own little tips on how to pack. So one of the things that I took away from, or two things that I took away from that packing video, is that I pack my undergarments in it's almost like a makeup bag, but it's its own little zipper pouch, little bag. And I love that because, number one, I can always find that, because before I'd have to dig down at the bottom, because that would be the first thing I would pack. Now I stick it in it's like a little makeup bag. It has a big zipper on it, and I love having all of my undergarments in one place and easy to get to. So, like, for example, if you're traveling and something happens to your suitcase and you want to pull it out, or maybe they've searched it or whatever, those incidentals are not going to go all over the place. So that kind of it just cuts down on being able to pack everything. So it's the smaller things get packed in those little cube bags, and it's so much better. The other thing is that I do pack my shoes in these kind of a drawstring bag that I've accumulated throughout the years. Some of mine, I think maybe a small purse came in this bag, and maybe it was like a toiletry gift bag, and it was kind of silky. So it's like a silky bag. I put my shoes in there, and especially my tennis shoes if I'm taking some things to work out in on my vacation. I shove those in there, and it just keeps your clothes clean and away from the dirt, especially if you've got dirt on your shoes. You don't want to just throw it in there. And I'm a big fan of packing light. In fact, I just decided recently that if it cannot fit in my carry-on suitcase, which I have a really nice carry-on suitcase, and we'll talk about that later. I think I might have mentioned it in one of the Friday favorites. If it's not in my carry-on, cannot fit in my carry-on suitcase or my backpack that I take on the plane, then it's just not going. I mean, I think that I can do a week to 10 days, and then after that, you can do laundry. So those are the things that I just pack. I mean, I just make sure and streamline everything to be able to pack it very efficiently. And so using those little bags really, really does help. Which, now that I've mentioned my backpack, I want to share with you the backpack that I bought, and it's from Amazon. I absolutely love it. I've taken it on this trip, and it does all the things that I want it to do. It's a great backpack for your laptop, and it kind of has like a wide mouth, almost like a, kind of like a, you know, it doesn't have the normal backpack top where it flaps over, or it has a zipper top, it has handles. I'll have to show it to you. You've got to go on and look and click on the link to the backpack, because it's great. And it was only $30 or maybe $29. It looks very durable and worth every penny. It has like a USB charger where you can connect a charger to it, and it really has great pockets and enough for a big water bottle on the sides. And it's a backpack, but it also kind of has a handle at the top. So versatile, and I love it. And so what I do when I travel is I take a crossbody, but I put my crossbody empty in my suitcase. So I kind of roll it up or whatever. And I just take my backpack so that I can take 2 bags. Sometimes I'll put my crossbody in my backpack, and that way I can take 2 bags. I've got my computer, I've got my paperwork, everything that I need for the plane. And I usually work on the plane, so on the flight. So I make sure I've got everything there together with me, and then my carry-on. So you've got 2, and it's easy peasy. I love that I can pack, and it just, you know, efficient, streamlined, and easy to travel with all just those 2 things. The next thing I'm loving is Marie Kondo's Netflix show called Tidying Up. And I'm trying to remember the whole name of Marie Kondo's Tidying Up book, but it's something like The Magic of Tidying Up, something about happiness. But I'll link that book as well down below, but I want to let you know that this Netflix show, I totally binge watched already, loved every show. I love that she chose different people in different stages of life, like empty nesters and people who have lost a loved one, that maybe were stuck about moving forward with their things, and families with kids. And anyway, I just love the show, and it's so good to get a jump start on the year by cleaning things out and making sure that you are just efficient and that you're using what you have. Another thing that I'm loving is I'm loving shelf cooking. So if you don't know what shelf cooking is, it comes from a gal who is an influencer. Her name is Jordan Page, and she has a website called Fun, Cheaper, Free. Her website has very much, her influencer has very much evolved. She has a bunch of kids, like five or six kids, and she has developed this thing called shelf cooking, which means you're cooking from the things that are in your pantry and in your freezer. So what I do when I'm doing shelf cooking is I will take an inventory of everything that's in my pantry, take an inventory of everything that's in my freezer and maybe refrigerator and come up with a meal plans or meals for the things that I already have. Now, sometimes I'll have things that I need, like I might need a certain spice or whatever. I certainly will go out and get it, but I try to use up the things that we already have. It really does help, and it keeps my pantry from getting just overgrown, kind of like weeds. We end up buying, oh yeah, I don't know if I have those cans of beans, so I'm going to buy more. Don't know if I have that soup, so I'll do more. Someone's sick, so, you get more things. And meanwhile, you have some stuff already in there, but you just don't know because you haven't done an inventory and you're not using up what you have. So that's what I'm loving these days is my shelf cooking time. And the last thing on my list is Dr. T's Lavender Epsom Salt. I love this stuff. It smells so heavenly. I try to take a bag of it with me. I'm a little afraid of the TSA, but I'll try to take a little bit of it so that when I am somewhere in a hotel, I can do a bath with Epsom salt because it smells so good and it does really help your muscles. Let's say that you are working out and you are sore. It is a great thing to have to soak in a tub of Epsom salt, and particularly for me, the Dr. T's lavender scent. They do have like a eucalyptus and mint, but to me that kind of wakes me up, and I usually take baths in the evening, so I want to have a time to just relax and let that Epsom salt really relax you and give you the relief that you need when you're sore. So those are the things that I've been loving. I hope that you'll join me in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have the VP of Salesforce. I met her at a Lean In conference, and I can't believe she agreed to be interviewed. I was super excited about it, and she and I had a great conversation. So I hope that you will tune in. I'm going to take a week off next week, so come back the last week in January, and I will have a new episode on Rising Stories. Thanks so much for listening, and keep rising in your story.